Every fighter has a move that everyone recognizes as his own. This was Mike Tyson's signature combination: a left hook to the body and a right jab straight to the head. Some say it's simple, yes, but it was also terrifyingly effective. Mike Tyson's trademark worked against any opponent because it was the true essence of the Iron Man: speed, strength, and precision. His technique became his calling card, destroying dozens of opponents. And, especially for you, I've compiled a selection of the most devastating fights where Tyson used his signature move. Mike Tyson versus Jesse Ferguson. It was February 16th, 1996, the month and year in which Tyson would make his first cover in the legendary magazine, The Ring, denoting the level of relevance he had begun to achieve. His professional record was perfect, 17 victories of which all 17 had ended in knockouts. And next on his death toll was none other than Jesse Ferguson. Ferguson's record was modest. 10 of his 14 victories were achieved through his knockout power. However, Mike already knew that he was not an impenetrable fighter, as he had been defeated once. That night, on the ring at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, the second would take place. Tyson landed powerful hooks to the body and returned the punch to the head with a pair of uppercuts. Ferguson fought with his back to the wall for much of the first half of the first round. He looked to block Tyson's punches and occasionally landed some of his own in the final minute.
Some of Tyson's 12 first-round knockout victims, but now,
even in the amateurs, Mike Tyson can throw great body shots. Go off balance. Always in position to punch. Team fights.
Tyson continued to punish Ferguson to the body in the second round. Much of the third round was close quarters combat, with Tyson outboxing Ferguson, who remained on the ropes.
We apologize, we're on our backup audio line. We'll stay with you. Now we're told that it's Tyson getting through the...
Just power, but he really gets the punch there quickly.
However, Ferguson landed a good burst midway through the third round that brought his head back.
good right. Before this began that it would go to a decision. Certainly Tyson has won the first 2 rounds and is controlling the... You mentioned, of course, the relationship to Patterson. Both fighters groomed by dissimilar, but there is really no direct comparison in style between the two fighters.
Ferguson grabbed both of Tyson's arms early in the 4th round, complaining of being hit low. Ferguson was cautioned in the same round for thrusting his head forward and grabbing Mike by the back of the neck. To top it off, Ferguson's frustration led him to throw a pair of punches after the bell, leaving Mike with no option but to respond with a couple of his own.
Minded throughout this fight to date.
Between Mike Tyson and Jesse Ferguson.
The two had to be separated, and Ferguson was taken to his corner by his trainer. Ferguson landed a jab early in the 5th round and tried to stay close enough to cushion some of Tyson's power. Mike again had success by backing away or stepping to the side and landing body shots. A sadistic right hook to the body and right uppercut combination at 2 minutes and 14 seconds of the 5th round broke Ferguson's nose and sent him heavily onto his back.
Motivation of a fighter, but I would say that Mike Tyson is trying to do 2 things here. One, he's trying to pace it. I think he respects Ferguson.
Was in trouble in both the 1st and 10th rounds, and now he's in trouble here. Blood coming out from the nose.
Just after the 8 count, Ferguson got back to his feet, only to be severely punished by Mike for the remainder of the round, while the referee closely watched his every move.
Rivera almost stopped it there. Great finisher. Let's see how he does with Ferguson.
Ferguson gamely hanging in. 4 seconds, 3 seconds.
Ferguson came out with jabs in the 6th round, before Tyson pressed him against the ropes and landed heavy head shots. Ferguson began betting on the hook and refused to break away. He subsequently received a warning at 1 minute, 3 seconds. Just seconds later, Ferguson grabbed both of Tyson's gloves and once again refused to let the referee separate them. At this, the referee's arms were waved above his head to disqualify the guy for grabbing and refusing to let go when ordered.
Continue to hold until he just physically forces him out. He must maintain a little bit of distance so that he's going to take a point. He's just...
Mike Tyson vs. Reggie Gross fast forward to June 13, 1986, and we arrive at the legendary night where Mike Tyson defeated Reggie Gross by technical knockout at 2 minutes, 36 seconds, in the first of the agreed 10 rounds, with an impressive record of 21 wins, 19 of which came via his lethal knockout power. Mike faced Reggie, whose record was 18 wins, 12 of them by knockout, and 4 losses. In his previous 2 fights, Mike had gone the distance to defeat James Tillis and Mitch Green, so he had to regain his irresistibly violent image by getting an early finish. Unfortunately for Gross, where Mike put his eye, he also put his hook. Undefeated heavyweight. Mike Tyson knocked down Reggie Gross twice and stopped him in the first round of a scheduled 10-round fight at Madison Square Garden. Tyson and Gross stood in the center of the ring, and Gross unleashed a barrage of powerful punches, a couple of which landed on Tyson's head. Then, as Gross paused, Tyson landed a powerful left hook that knocked him down. Gross struggled to his feet at the count of 7 and was quickly knocked down by 2 left hooks. Stubborn, like someone who refuses to accept his fate and stumbles over the same stone again and again, Gross got back to his feet at the count of 8. However, referee Johnny Lobianco had a much clearer perspective than he did and stopped the fight at exactly 2 minutes and 36 seconds. As if he hadn't saved his life, but rather hindered his victory, Gross pushed the referee away from him in a clear sign of disgust with his decision to stop the fight. But if he hadn't done so, Mike would likely have stopped his brain activity. Mike Tyson versus Lorenzo Boyd Tyson's schedule was truly insane. On July 11th of that same year, he was scheduled to enter the ring at the Stevensville Hotel in Swan Lake, New York, to face none other than Lorenzo Boyd. With a reported record of 16 wins, 9 of them by knockout, and 5 losses, Boyd wasn't really shaping up to be Tyson's toughest opponent so far, but he was certainly one of the most daring. By this point, Tyson entered the fight ranked as the number 2 heavyweight contender by the World Boxing Council, and his performance throughout the fight made it clear he was going for the top spot. Tyson broke Lorenzo Boyd's nose in the first round and then scored a knockout at 1 minute, 43 seconds. Tyson punished Boyd with right hooks to the body from the start of the fight and never allowed him to mount an attack. Mike closed out the night with a resounding right hook to the body, capped by a right uppercut under the chin, which sent Boyd crashing mercilessly to the canvas. The referee reached the count of 8 before ending the fight with Boyd still on the ground.
This is Mike Tyson's first fight as a non-teenager.
Just again to the body. Boyd trying to answer. Half a minute to go. Co-managed by Jim Jacobs and Bill Clayton. Good right uppercut from a sharp right uppercut to the body by Tyson. Again, a double right hand to the body and the chin.
Mike Tyson versus Marvis Frazier. The last stop in this video was on July 26th, also in the year 1986, when Tyson stepped into the legendary Civic Center ring in Glens Falls, New York, to face Marvis Frazier. With a clean record of 24 victories, 22 of which came by way of knockout, Tyson was preparing that night to mark a milestone in his passage through boxing history that would be written in indelible ink on the golden pages. Mike Tyson used a devastating right uppercut to knock out Marvis Frazier 30 seconds into their scheduled 10-round bout. The fighters met in the center of the ring after the opening bell, and Tyson quickly stunned Frazier with a right hand. He then forced him into the corner and attacked him with an uppercut that sent him straight to the canvas.
Uppercut, and Marvis is hurt.
Frazier is back. And he's going up. Joe Cortez moves in to have a look.
Referee Joe Cortez counted to 5 before calling the fight. Yes, it was the second knockout loss of Frazier's career, the previous one coming against Larry Holmes, also in the first round. However, this is a milestone that goes unnoticed, as, at 30 seconds, it was the fastest knockout of Tyson's professional career. Closing. If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember, there's no better way to support my content than by liking the video. Comment on which of these devastating knockouts you like the most and why. Also, if you know of another fight that ended with Iron Mike's signature move, you can also mention it so the rest of the Gold community is aware of it. You'll probably see it in part 2 of this video.